Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on this video. What I would like to do in this video is give you a walkthrough of our course site that you'll be working in for the next 8 weeks, and also go over the syllabus and some of the policies and information that you need to know in order to do this class really successfully. I like to record this as a video, and I like to put all of it in one video because I think getting off on the right foot in an online course is extremely important. Some of you may be familiar with online courses, and some of you may not. English 111 is a course that many students take. Typically, they take it pretty early in their college journey, but not always early. So it's possible that for some of you, this is your first online class. It's also possible that this may be your first college class, period. And so I think a video like this that helps orient you into our class and think about how you should be doing your work on a week-to-week basis, as well as where to go to find certain information in our course, is incredibly helpful. And so this is all recorded as one video rather than record, let's say, 5 videos that are, 15 minutes long. I'm instead going to do one whole video that goes over the syllabus and also goes over the course and course navigation. In the information below on this YouTube video, I will put timestamps for various spots along the way. So if you want to hit pause and come back, or if you want to, you're watching on a computer, but you want to, pull it up on your phone instead, you can go do that. One of the reasons I like to post things to YouTube is that it allows students to watch or listen or re-listen on various devices, their phones, their tablets, their computers. If you have a YouTube app on your television, you can watch it there. I don't necessarily know why you'd want to have me pulled up on your television, but if you do, it's an option that's available to you. Most of this video is going to be in screen share mode, and I will go away during that time, and it'll just be my screen. I don't want to block anything as you're looking at the content of our course. I'm going to be narrating, though, as I'm walking through and giving you tips and tricks and encouraging you along the way to pull up content on your screen so that you can see what's going on. And so really, I think without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our course site. Now, course site is one of those words that I'd like to use because I think it conveys what we are actually doing without getting bogged down in names. When I say course site, I'm referring to what you can access by going to ivylearn.ivytech.edu. Uh, we call this platform IvyLearn within the college, but that's not what it's actually called everywhere else in the world. Everywhere else in the world, this is called Canvas. That's the formal name for the platform. And so if you ever have any technical issues and you're trying to find information about how to do something in this platform, if you look up Canva, or if you go to Google and you type in IvyLearn and you try to find advice, you're really not going to find much by the way of advice. But if you go to Google and you type in, how to do X in Canvas, you will get lots of information because Canvas is the official name of the platform. Why do we call it IvyLearn? Well, you may have noticed here at the college, we call everything Ivy, right? My Ivy, Ivy Plus, Ivy Cares, Ivy Learn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As an English person, this really gets on my nerves because I think if you call everything Ivy, all of a sudden you've diluted the brand and people can't tell them apart from each other. It's like, wait, what's the difference between this one and this one? Part of what language is for is to help us with clarity. And so we're not really being clear when everything is called Ivy, but really that's neither here nor there. I'll get off that soapbox. So when I talk about course site, I'm referring to IvyLearn. You'll see me within the site sometimes call it Canvas/IvyLearn, or sometimes I'll just call it course site. Really, it doesn't matter when you get down to it at the end of the day. But just know all of those terms are interchangeable. You can see here, these are the courses that I'm teaching this term. I just wrapped up a world literature course, and I'm about to teach two sections of composition, which is the class that you are in now. One of them is online, and one of them I'm teaching at the campus that I call home. Over here, well, let me say this version of IvyLearn, this is the professor view on it. If I went into student view, which I'll do a little later in this video, you'll see things that mirror your perspective, but this is still the same platform. Okay, I'm going to expand out the icons on the side and make some indications to you about icons that can be really useful and things that might not be really useful to you. So everybody should have an account feature up here in the left corner. If you click on account, you can see the various settings and notifications. IvyLearn will send you lots of notifications about changes that have been made. You can get text alerts, you can get email alerts. If you want to change your notifications and get more or get fewer, you can do so by clicking on account and then do that. This is where you can upload a photo of yourself if you would like to do that. And you can update your profile as well, or any other settings that you would like. This is the dashboard. This is where your courses are for the term that you were enrolled in, or for faculty, the courses that we're teaching. The calendar button is where you can go to see upcoming assignments that are due. But I want to make a pitch that the calendar button is not as useful as it pretends to be. The calendar really only focuses on when things are due and how to get directly to that assignment. But so many of the assignments that you're going to be doing within our class are actually um, it you need more information and rather than just clicking on the assignment. So I think the calendar is a little misleading. It doesn't quite give you the experience in the class that you might actually prefer. So therefore, I recommend that you don't use the calendar button that much. You should instead use the syllabus, or you should use the to-do lists that I am publishing weekly in our class so that you can kind of see and follow along with the work that you are expected to do. Not everything shows up on the calendar in Canvas, right? It doesn't give you your reading assignments. It doesn't give you videos to watch. It's only things that are assignments to turn in. And so the calendar is a disservice. If there were a way for me to deactivate the calendar in Canvas when it came to our course, I would. I think it's that disruptive and harmful to the class experience. So I encourage you not to use the calendar icon in order to do your classes. Uh, the inbox button is a way in which you and I can communicate to each other. Canvas/IvyLearn has its own messaging system. These sometimes get doubled over into emails. From the faculty side, if you send me a message in IvyLearn, it also sends a copy of that message to my email, and I can respond from my email or I can respond within IvyLearn. I don't have a preference one way or the other how you choose to message me. You can use the Canvas inbox or you can use your Ivy Tech email. Either way is perfectly fine. I will see it because I check my messages on a daily basis, and I will be able to respond to it. So whichever way you're most comfortable with is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and click on our course now so that we can take a closer look at the layout of our course. This is where I'm going to switch over to student view for a few moments. We're not going to look at the whole class through student view because there are other things that I want to, showcase to you. But when I switch over to student view, this now should look like the course as it appears on your screen, with the exception of this pink box that is surrounding the web page. You can see pretty straightforwardly when you access my online writing class that I keep things very minimalistic, very clean, very straightforward. I think one of the real challenges with online classes is there's a strong temptation to make things very cluttered. Activate all the possible tools, activate all the possible links, activate all of the things, design 1,000 pages that students have to go through. I think that that is a disservice to you all. And so I try to keep things very minimalistic and streamlined for you. I'm not going to activate anything that you are not going to be potentially using on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis in order to complete this course. This is our home page. This will be the page that you see every time you click on our course. I've tried to keep it pretty streamlined for you. Recent announcements will appear at the top. And so you'll be able to see those as those get posted. There's a link to our course syllabus, which we'll go over here in just a few minutes. This is the link to the course modules section, which we will also go over after the syllabus. If you ever need to get on Zoom with me to do a live session, I've got some introductory sessions during week one where I'd like to, be able to meet you and hear your voice and see what you look like and get to know you a little more. They're optional, but they are something that I make available to students during the first week of class. Or if we ever need to do a one-on-one conference, if you want to talk about the draft of your paper, whatever you may need that we may need to meet together, this is the link for our Zoom page, and you can just very simply click that, launch Zoom, and join me inside our page. So we have a couple of links over here on the side, the home page, the syllabus page, the modules page, the discussions page, grades, and the textbooks. Once announcements start being posted to the class, you'll also see an announcements link. The entire course gets experienced in the modules section. So from modules, you can access everything else for the course. Except tracking your grades, and also accessing the syllabus. That is also something that you can do from here. Notice this to-do list off to the right. These are upcoming assignments that are built into the class. As I mentioned, I don't recommend using the calendar or this to-do list over here on the side. I think it has a tendency to just jump straight to the assignment without doing the learning or the necessary work in preparation for the assignment or in order to do the assignment well. I find that sometimes when students are writing me emails and they're a little confused about something, that they would not have been confused if they went through the course modules section to access all of this information, right? So you can access everything within modules, and modules actually contains all of the information that you're going to need to be successful in the class. Let's go to the syllabus, and I want to walk through the syllabus for you. I'm going to leave student view now. And show you the syllabus from my perspective, so that all of the images are, correctly loading and everything like that. So up at the top here, this is the video overview. This video that you're watching, you can click this link and go back and access this video. You can also download a copy of our syllabus as a PDF if you would like to have a physical copy, something to print out or something that you can archive. Sometimes that can be really useful. Especially if you're going to transfer, if you have a copy of your course syllabi from your time here at Ivy Tech, it can be a good resource if you ever need to show an admissions office at a university where you're transferring, hey, this was the class that I took and here's what we covered. So I make a copy of that for students. I think it can be really helpful. My information is up here at the top, including my email address, my office. I'm in Fowl Hall C104 at the Sellersburg campus. If you are local to the Sellersburg campus and you would like to come visit me, you're certainly welcome to do so. My office hours, now they're called office hours, but really these are student hours. These are times that the faculty set aside on a week-to-week basis to be able to meet with students, to be able to work with students, to respond to student emails. We do it the whole week, but office hours are a tradition that started, years and years and years ago for in academia for students to say, hey, this is the time when your professor is sitting in her or his office waiting for you to reach out. These are hours that I set aside for my students and for the course that work that I do. I realize though that these hours might not work with your schedule. You might be somebody who works during the day and you do all of your work at night. So if my office hours don't work with your schedule, all you need to do is send me an email or a message in Canvas and say, hey, is it possible for us to schedule some time to meet? I have a lot of questions or I'm having some issues. And I will be more than happy to look at my calendar and figure out when I can meet with you. Typically, I can meet with students, in the morning, before 10 a.m., or I can typically meet with students after 4:30 p.m., kind of up until like 7 or 8 o'clock. Um, because those are hours that I'm at home when I get home from work, and then we can hop on a meeting together. I could also, in some circumstances, meet with you on the weekends. If you'd like to set a meeting for a Saturday or a Sunday, I can generally make that work as long as I don't have anything else scheduled at that time. So office hours, I'm available during those times, but anything outside my office hours, just send me an email and ask, and I would be more than happy to work with you. When we work together, most of the time we're going to work on Zoom, and this is our course Zoom link. So you can access same link from the homepage, but now just written out as a full URL. Every course at Ivy Tech has a document called a course outline. These include our learning objectives, and basic information about the class, like prerequisites. And in this particular area, this is also our section number. Um, this is the same in every English 111 class. They have the same learning objectives and the same course content. I don't want to go over this section word for word. I'm going to let read it, but let me just say what this class is a class that helps you embrace writing as a form of personal expression, as a form of having your voice and your thoughts be able to be presented to an audience. I like to tell my students that what we do in this course is we learn about the choices we make when we write. This is not a class that's going to tell you there is only one correct way to write. This is not a class that's going to tell you everything that you produce has to look like this. This is not a class where I teach you how to just plug in words and ideas like a Mad Libs style approach to thinking and writing and academics. This is a class where I'm going to talk to you about the various choices that you have to make as a writer and help you determine how do I make the best choice for the class that I'm taking? How do I make the best choice for the type of writing that I'm doing? What are the considerations that I have to pause and reflect on as I'm in the process of writing? So that is the goal of this class, is to help you become a stronger and clearer writer and to put you in the driver's seat. This isn't a class that's designed to make you look like or sound like everybody else. This is a class that really is designed to help you write the thing that only you could have written. That is my goal. That is where I hope we end up. That is what I am excited for us to work through together. Okay, there are two books for this course, and all online English 111 sections use these two books. So I want to say up front that I didn't get to pick the books. for this class, but I do get to pick how much we're going to use of the books in this class. Of the two that we're going to use in this class, this one, the Little Seagull Handbook, this is the one that if I was teaching the class, um, where I got to pick the text that I'm using for the section, I would have probably picked this one actually. The Little Seagull Handbook is a tremendously useful resource for you. It's actually a shame that we now do so many digital books because honestly, The Little Seagull is a book that I would recommend that you buy a physical copy of it. If you bought one, you could hold on to it for the rest of your time in college, and it would be a tremendously useful document and resource to have on hand. It tells you how to do things like how to write different types of assignments, the decisions and choices that you need to make, how to do research, how to avoid plagiarism, how to do citation, how to do formatting. It has a whole section on common grammatical mistakes. This is an extremely useful book, and that is the one that we are going to primarily use in this class. This class also comes with another book called They Say, I Say by Gerald Graff and others. I'm not really a fan of They Say, I Say. Um, we will read a couple chapters from it. Certainly we will, but for the most part, we're going to lean more heavily into the Little Seagull Handbook. And there will also be other texts that I upload to the course as PDFs that you will be reading along the way as well. If you prefer print materials, like I said, most of the books here at Ivy Tech are now digital and you're paying for them bundled in with your tuition, and then you have access to them for a limited period of time. It's like the difference between, paying for Spotify to be able to access something to listen to versus buying the album, for yourself so that anytime you want to listen to like, Kendrick Lamar or something, you've got the album and you can go back to it, either something that you've bought digitally and downloaded or, you know, uh, we do vinyl records at our house for, aesthetic purposes, but also they're just fun to have on hand. And buying a physical copy of an album is something that you can play anytime you want, and you pay that one-time fee for the physical copy as opposed to an ongoing fee, right? I really like print materials. It's hard for me to read books on my computer. If you have a tablet, it can maybe be a little easier, but I like holding the physical thing in my hand. It helps me focus. It minimizes distractions. So if you prefer print materials too, um, you can get a copy of the Little Seagull Handbook pretty cheap online. There are lots of used copies all over the place on Amazon. I also have a link to an old PDF version of the Little Seagull that you could download and print. I'll show you where that is in a few moments. Or you could support a local independent bookstore by ordering something through bookshop.org. There are also lots of used book marketplaces. Abe Books is another used marketplace. So there are lots of ways that you can go to get a pretty cheap copy of The Little Seagull. I really recommend it. Again, not a requirement, but it's just something that I'm going to recommend that you consider and think about. Okay. Let's talk about instructional course policies and the instructional method. So this is an asynchronous online learning course. What that means is you don't have to come to campus. Everything's built into the class. We never even have to meet each other live, although I hope that we are able to do so. Online courses are really cool because it allows you to do education at your own speed, at your own pace. And I think it's tremendous. However, I want to say this. It takes a really great deal of discipline, self-motivation, and effective time management to successfully complete an online class. That's the trade-off, right? It's a class that you can do at any time, but that means you are really responsible for setting the hours each week that you are going to do your work. Some people are really good at that. Some people are not really good at that. So I really recommend that you set aside consciously right now in week one, set aside the hours each week that you're going to do on the course. If this were a course that was on campus, right, there would be certain hours each week that we would be meeting together in a classroom and you would be learning things. You need to do the same thing for an online course, right? If it's like Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m., I'm going to work on my English class. That's great, right? Set the time that you need and then feel like you can make adjustments. You might not set aside enough time. You might need to set aside more time. Um, this is not a course that you can do really well if you're logging in on the day everything is due, and going from there. So it's a course that you really need to try to set aside specific time all through the week, to ensure that you're staying on track. This is a writing course, and so it's a process-oriented course. It's something where, I'll recommend that you write something and then set it aside for 24 hours, come back and reread it. So you can't just squeeze everything into the last few hours in a week. You got to try to pace yourself. I recommend that you think of this course as having two benchmarks, right? One midweek, like Thursday, you're going to get a bunch of everything done by Thursday, and then at the end of the week. You could think about your benchmark as being on Sunday if you want. That way you're starting the week fresh. We'll talk about due dates and everything soon, but I recommend give yourself a couple of benchmarks each week that you want to try to aim for to help keep yourself on track. We're going to have some live meet and greet sessions on Zoom during the first week of the course. These are opportunities for you to meet with me or meet some of your other classmates as well as learn about the course. Um, Attendance is optional, but I will record the sessions in case there's anything that somebody might find useful or beneficial. I really encourage you to come. I've tried to set options all through the week at different times. So you can see Monday, March 17th, we'll be doing one at 6 p.m. We'll also do one at 6 p.m. on March 20th. Tuesday, the 18th, we'll do one at 10 a.m. and Wednesday, the 19th, we'll do one at noon. So trying to give you lots of options through the week, that we can get together and you could ask some questions or anything else. All right, let me talk a little bit about dropping and withdrawing from the class. So we will do administrative drops for students who don't attend class. And in an online class, what that means is you have to complete an assignment or you have to engage with me in some way prior to the refund deadline. Now, the refund deadline is Monday, March 24th at the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. Eastern, right? How that works is if you don't do anything for the whole first week of class, I will report you as having not attended and you'll be auto dropped from the course. No record of it will appear on your transcript. You will receive a 100% refund for the tuition and fees that you paid for the class, right? So if you are in this class and you decide, this really isn't the class for me, this seems like a lot of work, maybe I should take this face to face, don't do anything and you'll get dropped from the class. Okay? You have to do something in order to prevent being dropped. And if you don't do anything and I drop you and then you come back to me and say, oh no, I really need to get into the class, the college, really actively advises against that. This is an accelerated course. It's delivered at 8 weeks. And so you want to make sure that you're not getting dropped from the class. If you're interested, stay in. Uh, if you end up staying in the class, right, I recommend that you do everything possible to finish this course. And the reason is not completing the course can pull down your GPA, it can pull down your completion rate, that can impact financial aid eligibility. And so it's really important that if you're going to be in the course, you make up your mind by Monday, the 24th Am I going to stick with this or am I not going to stick with this? And if the answer is stick with this, that's great. I want you here. I think it's a great opportunity for me to work with you, considering, we might not have ever met were it not for online courses. Um, but it's a choice that you need to make. And then, the college gives you 1 week to make that choice. The last day to withdraw is April 28th, 2015. Now, how does a withdrawal work? When you choose to withdraw from the class, you end up with a W on your transcript, which indicates that you've withdrawn from the course. It doesn't affect your GPA. So if you can't finish the class and you choose to drop the class, it's not going to affect your GPA, but it will affect whether you are um, your completion rate and those sorts of things, which can be around financial aid eligibility and good standing with the college. I don't recommend that you withdraw without talking to your advisor, your academic advisor. Um, the withdrawal at the college comes at the end of week 6. So basically, you've got until 75% of the class is over to decide, am I going to withdraw or not? Um, I recommend talking to your academic advisor, but I also recommend reaching out to me. If you are concerned that you're not going to be able to do something, my experience is sometimes students are really concerned about that, but they have no reason to be concerned, or I'm actually more willing to work with them than they imagine. And so reach out to me and talk to me about what you're dealing with or what your struggles are. And let me see if there's anything that I can do to help or, push deadlines back or provide you with other resources, or maybe we could touch base a couple of times. I'm really happy to help you. I just can't help you if we don't hear from each other, right? So you reach out to me if you need anything, and I will be more than happy to do that. This link on college policies will take you to our standard policies that are common to all Ivy Tech courses, like copyright and attendance and the Americans with Disabilities Act and Title IX. This is a link that goes out to a Google Doc provided from Ivy Online. So you can click that to access all of those common materials. All right. Now let's talk about the portion of the class that I think you're probably all interested in, which is what's the work that I'm going to be doing and how am I going to be assessed on that work? So this is actually a section of the syllabus that really benefits from me reading, and hopefully you can read along with me as I do so. You'll write a lot in this course. Some of it will be polished, some of it will be informal, some of it will be somewhere in between. In many ways, though, what matters most is the process of writing that you're going to undertake, as opposed to the final product that you create. What do I mean by that? Well, I write in the next sentence, our course has much in common with something like a studio art course, where the learning is happening through the act of creation. If you were to take an art course at the college, let's say like, drawing 101 or studio art 101 or something like that, there is no expectation that at the end of the course, you're going to produce something that's hanging in a museum, right? The point of the course is the practice and the learning and how to make choices when it comes to creation. That's the point of the course. Just like the point of this course is learning about the writing process, learning where you make choices, learning how to make good choices, and then trying, those choices in the process of writing. What that means is I put a lot of emphasis on the step-by-step process of becoming a better writer. I am never going to say to you, go write this thing. You get one chance. If you mess up, it's the end of the world, right? I'll never say that to you. I'm really interested in process-oriented work. And so you do not have to be a terrific writer by the end of this class. But what I hope you're going to accomplish by the end of this class is you'll learn about the various choices that you can make as a writer. You'll learn about how best to express yourself on topics of academic interest in this class. I do not want you to feel like I'm like teaching you to write like a robot or something. That is not the point. Perfect final products is not the point of this course. The point of this course is to be messy, to explore, to try new things, to get feedback, to make changes. This is not a course that demands perfection from you. To write is to think, right? To grapple with ideas, to strive to find the best words for your ideas. Writing is, continuing on here, right? Writing is not just something you're going to do in English courses. So what I'm really trying to do is give you the framework for how to write that will demonstrate your thinking and your engagement with ideas that matter to you. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about assessment. I use an assessment approach that was championed by a writing scholar named Peter Elbow. Actually, sadly, Elbow just died a couple of weeks ago. He lived a really long life. He was an incredibly influential writer and a very key influence on me when I was thinking about and learning about how to become a writing teacher. Elbow called for something that he termed minimal grading. And this comes from an essay that he wrote about the problems with grading in college environments, or really in any environment, but really when it comes to like college writing courses, right? He argued that conventional grading is often confusing, unnecessarily complicated, inconsistent, and counterproductive to a climate of authentic teaching and authentic learning, right? So what does Elbow mean by this? Basically, Elbow's point is, if you were going to come over to my house and I was going to teach you how to make, we're having for dinner at our house tonight, we're having Philly cheesesteaks for dinner. If I was going to teach you how to make a cheesesteak for dinner, right? I'm not going to grade you on the process. I'm going to show you what the steps are. I'll coach you through the steps. I might even help you with the steps. And then we're going to actually have to taste the product. Is this good? Is it not good? Does it need more salt? What could I have done differently? Maybe we should do a different kind of cheese. What did I learn along the way? I'm not going to give you letter grades or numbers for how to make a Philly cheesesteak, right? Authentic learning is a process of trial and error, of feedback, of making changes, of reflecting on the choices that you made. And Elbow is pointing out that the ABCDF scale is really confusing for people, and it's often just complicated and inconsistent, and it's not really what like the learning environment needs. So he thinks feedback is critical, and I think he's right on that, and he thinks assessment is also critical, right? You need someone who's looking at it and giving you that feedback and assessing the work that you've done. But he thinks we have to make the process simpler, fairer, and clearer. That's the title of the essay where he champions this idea, right? And he recommends that we reduce the complexities of grading down to just a few standard benchmarks. So when you do writing in this course, you are going to receive one of three assessment marks, right? Just three. And I focus on these three because I'm trying to be clear. The work that you do can either be assessed as complete, which will be full credit, all available points, full credit. You've finished the assignment at the level that it needs to be finished. You've done the work that was necessary to do it. Or you might get in progress. This is partial credit. You've earned some work, but it's not actually done. You've missed something, something needs to be changed, something needs to grow, something needs to be revisited in some way. Or incomplete, no credit, right? And you can get an incomplete really, in one of two ways, right? Either don't do the assignment, right? You can't get credit for something that you haven't done, or you don't follow the guidelines at all, right? You just do your own thing, and we don't talk about it, and it's like, well, that's not what you were supposed to be working on. What are you doing here? This is not. I guess the third way that you could also get an incomplete is if you engage in dishonesty, right? You you cheat, you plagiarize, something like that, right? So what that really means is at the end of the day is if you are genuinely trying to do an assignment, you're sitting down, you're doing the work, you're submitting it. At worst, the score you're going to get on the assignment is in progress. And I mean in progress as genuinely in progress, right? If you get an in progress or an incomplete, you can go back and revise and resubmit. You can do that as many times as you need. So if something you write gets in progress, take the feedback, go back and change it, resubmit. It might still be in progress, right? That might be the verdict that I come to again. What's missing something else, or you didn't actually do as well as you thought you were trying to do, right? So I'll say in progress. You can go back and fix it again. You can do that as many times as necessary until you get complete. Right? Because I believe writing is a process. And we don't always get it right on the first try. So I'm not going to make it so that you have to get it right on the first try. You have the freedom to explore, to learn, to try new things, to get feedback, to get better. So I'm going to maintain feedback and grades in the IvyLearn book. You can generally expect feedback within 7 days. If it's late, that could affect the time that you get it back. But for the most part, you can expect feedback within a week. I'll let you know if there needs to be a change. So individual assignments are going to be assessed as complete, in progress, or incomplete. Every assignment has a certain weight to it, and that will eventually translate into a letter grade that I have to submit to the college. Because even though I use this minimal grading inside the classes, I still have to submit a letter grade to the college, A, B, C, D, F, right? And so your final grade gets calculated based on how many percentages you earn over the term uh, in four different categories of the class, right? So we have a writer's portfolio. This is worth half of all the available points and percentages in the class. This is the significant work of the course. You're going to write two longer essays, each of which is going to undergo a review and a revision. And then there will be various like step-by-step elements that will also go into the writer's portfolio. You have to do the writer's portfolio in order to pass this class. That's how the class is designed. Right? You got to do the writing in order to pass a writing course. The second largest category is called session work, and this just includes like all of the day-to-day work that's associated with the course. Things like writing tutorial exercises, check-ins, shorter writing assignments, reflections, etc. All that falls under the banner of session work. Discussions are 120 points total. We will have 4 discussions in the course. We will be asked to make contributions to a forum and reply to your peers and to me. And then also we are going to do something called workshopping. Workshopping is when you share what you've written with your peers and they're able to read it and give you feedback. I also read it and give you feedback too. So you can see this, each section has a total of points, and then you can see the weighted percentage. These are purposefully designed to be pretty simple, right? There's 1,000 points total in the course. The portfolio is 500, so it's weighted at 50% of the total. I don't do extra credit. I actually am philosophically opposed to it, but I do round up final grades, right? So if you get an 89.1, I round that up to an A. That's not a problem for me. All right, let's talk about due dates and the makeup policy. The course runs Monday to Monday. I know that that's a little strange, but the thinking behind it is we want to give people like a weekend. Uh, And especially, the people who work at the college, they need a weekend too. They need time to like decompress and recharge and, get ready for the next week. And so we do it Monday to Monday. It's not Monday to Sunday. It's not really fair to ask you that work be due on a day that I'm not around to help. Um, so the course runs Monday to Monday. And so what that means is like Monday of week one, we start the week. You have the whole week to complete it, and then you have until the end of the day, Monday, week two, to have everything submitted. Due dates are listed in the course schedule, and they're also included in the calendar. The course is delivered in the 8-week accelerated format that Ivy Tech has decided. Not my idea. I really don't think classes should be that fast, but I lost that fight. So because it's delivered in the accelerated 8-week format, I really encourage you to stay on track and not fall behind. If you need an extension, email me. Let me know. Let me know things are like going wrong. Do that idea of that personal accountability, right? Hey, I'm really sorry. My kid got sick. I missed a couple of days of work. I'm falling behind, or I had to pick up an extra shift in order to help somebody. And I'm not going to be able to get the work done. I just want to know kind of like what's going on. And the reason is I won't bother you then if you say to me, hey, I just need a couple more days. If I don't see work from you, I might send you emails that are like, hey, just checking in. Is everything okay? Uh, if you reach out to me and let me know you're running a little behind, not a problem. I'm more than happy to work with you. Really, I am genuinely happy to work with you. I want you to believe that up front. I need you to believe that up front. And so extensions are always approved, but it does allow me to, because I think about the whole course. If you say I need an extension on something from week three, I can say, hey, it's not a problem, but just so you know, we got this assignment coming up in week four. So you don't want to fall too far behind, or it's going to make your week four work harder to do. Okay. So it's really just designed for me to help you. You'll always get the extension. You don't have to ask permission to turn something in a little late. But if you keep up that correspondence and communication with me, then I can intervene in case information would be helpful. I don't want the course to become harder because you need a little bit of time, right? After feedback gets provided, you can resubmit as many times as you want, right? Any missing assignments at the end of the class will receive the incomplete no credit. Let me say a couple words about academic integrity and plagiarism. This is important to me, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I really value academic integrity. What that means is, you're doing the work that you've been assigned, you yourself are doing it. The work that if you don't do the work, if you're doing things that violate academic integrity, you're really just diminishing the value of your own educational achievement, right? Um, I'm not a cop. I don't want to teach English in order to be a cop. That's not my goal here. Um, the only person who is really getting cheated if you are following behaviors that violate academic integrity. At the end of the day, that person's really you who's getting cheated. Um, but there are other people who are affected by that too. Classmates get affected by that. The professor gets affected by that. Um, it it can be painful to feel like you're um, somebody's doing something in a class that's designed to cheat the class. So uh, think about that and the importance of just doing your own work. Here's what I'll say though, in my personal experience, most cases of academic dishonesty happen because somebody feels desperate, right? You fell behind. You get nervous. It feels too hard. It feels like you're not really invested. it feels like you don't have the time to do it at the level that you want to do it, right? And so suddenly plagiarism or some other form of academic dishonesty feels like a possible avenue. The hope is, right, like hopefully I won't get caught. And that can be kind of alluring in an online course where we're not actually seeing each other face to face. And so it might be you feel like you could do it almost anonymously, right? Or fingers crossed, someone's super busy and they're just not going to notice, right? Here's what I want to say to that. This course has been intentionally designed to eliminate that as much as possible, right? I am interested in your thoughts, your reactions, your interpretations, your mind at work. Extensions are always possible. Assignments can be resubmitted based on my feedback. Outsourcing any step of the writing process, including using generative AI and large language models like ChatGPT or anything else like that, it's really prohibited in this course because it denies you the opportunity to do what I think is necessary to learn and get better. Right? You're not really learning if you're outsourcing things, or you're not really learning if you're cheating, right? So plagiarism, it refers not only to when you copy and paste, but there's another definition that we'll be working on in this class, which is when you're not properly citing where you're getting your information from. So as college students, you're members of the academic community, and the expectation is when you're in an academic community, the work you're doing is your own. Now, I don't use plagiarism detection services like Turnitin, but I have a really good eye for voice, and I have a really good eye for language. And please be aware that if I ever have a concern about the authenticity of your work, I reserve the right to email you and ask you to meet with me on Zoom to talk about what's going on. In extreme cases, I reserve the right to withhold assessment until that meeting occurs. So, you know, this is not common, but it has happened before where somebody, I think that there's an academic integrity issue, and I email the person and the person tries to ignore my email. Um, if I have a concern about the integrity of an assignment, I will not grade anything else until we have that meeting. And then anything else can be assessed at a incomplete or no credit until that meeting occurs. So keep your drafts, keep your notes, stay focused, do your work. The whole course is set up to make it as easy as possible for you to do that so you never feel desperate and everything's going to be great. But it's important for me to go over that because it's an online course in the world that we live in, right? Basic needs. If you need anything related to housing, food, mental health care, if you are experiencing something that's making it difficult for you to complete this course, something related to the basic shared humanity that we all have, psychological and safety needs, if you are in a dangerous domestic situation, if you're experiencing food insecurity, if you're experiencing a mental health care crisis, Ivy Tech has a resource provided called Ivy Cares, and you can click on that and you can get more information. You can also look for local area things local to your community to help you by going to our tool, which is called Ivy Assist. And you can type in your zip code, and it will show you what's around in the community. Let me say something about diversity statement. My goal is to help students become better thinkers, better communicators, better writers. Language is a powerful tool and it can empower individuals and communities. It can also be very harmful. I think the point of a college English course is to give the means to engage in meaningful conversation and collaboration across differences and with those with whom we disagree. Uh, the point of college classes is to explore and understand and problem solve and respond to the things that are affecting us in our lives and more broadly in the world. And these skills align with and they support our mission to put diversity, equity, and belonging into practice by graduating culturally literate individuals who make positive contributions to local communities. Um, my name's Anthony, and you can call me Anthony. I encourage you to call me Anthony. You don't have to call me Mr. Sams or Professor Sams or whatever. Anthony is perfectly fine. My pronouns are he, him. If you have a name that you would like to go by that is not reflected in the course, um, uh, the learning management system or on my roster, please let me know. I will respect that. If there's anything else that you need to let me know in order to feel like you're comfortable and your humanity is being recognized, please let me know, and I will make those changes and accommodations. All right, let's talk about communication. We are almost done, by the way. Let's talk about communication. Um, you can contact me through the Canvas inbox at my email address. You can reply to weekly course announcements. Those are public, by the way. If you reply, everyone can see your reply. So keep that in mind. Um, you can schedule a visit in my virtual office hours. You can come see me in my office or down in the Learning Commons if you're local to the Sellersburg campus. I don't know how many different ways I can say this, but I'm going to say it here again, right? Your success is my top priority. I want you to do well in this class. I am not a villain. I am not an antagonist. I am not an obstacle that you have to somehow run around in order to do well in a class like this. The point of teaching is to help you become better, to be a coach, to be a mentor, to be an assistant, to be an editor. It is not to be an obstacle. And I am willing to work with you to help you be successful. But it's tough to help if I don't know you need it, right? Um, I'm always happy to help, but I can't force you to let me help you. So all you need to do is reach out, and I would be more than happy to help you. Email and the inbox are great if you've got like a yes, no style question. If we need to discuss something, I think it's better to meet on Zoom. And as I said, I'm happy to schedule something if my hours don't work with you. I check email daily, Monday to Friday. I encourage you to do the same. I try to respond within one business day to your emails. If you don't hear back from me for whatever reason, you can always send me a second one. Don't worry about that. Um, so please feel free. I try to give myself as much of a weekend though as possible, Saturday to Sunday. I hope you are able to give yourself a couple days off each week. It might not be Saturday and Sunday. I recognize that. The life of a college student is frequently busy, especially if you have a job, if you have a family with other courses, personal life, finding time for you is important as well. Sometimes you have to pick a day off from one responsibility in order to do something else. So I know that, but it is really not good for you to work 7 days a week if you can avoid it. Even if you're just taking one day where you're trying to say, this is my day off of work, so it's going to be my day off of school, and it's going to be my day off. I'm a parent, so I understand you don't get a day off as a parent, but try and give yourself as much of a day off as possible is good for your mental health. And if you keep yourself in a good state with your mental health, that will actually help you do better in your classes, right? Working 24/7 is not good for your mental health. It's really not good for your productivity. It's not good for the quality of work that you produce. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can adjust the settings for notifications. And there's also a section here on responsibilities. Oh, we have a student code of rights and responsibilities at the college. And I really encourage you to check that out and follow it. Make sure that you understand what your rights are, but also what your responsibilities are. If you need support from the help desk for something related to IT work, you can call this number, 1-888 IvyLearn, or you can search through the database of articles that can help you solve your problem. If you've got an IvyLearn issue, you can reach out to do that. If you need some contact from our Disability Support Services office, that information is there. My supervisor is listed down here at the bottom, Joe Betts. Um, if you have any kind of issues, I encourage you to bring them to me first. And 99.999% of the time, I can solve the problem. Um, Sometimes there's just an issue of miscommunication. So reach out to me and let me know, and I'll try to solve the problem as best as I can. If you and I find ourselves at an impasse, um, where it just doesn't seem like solving a problem is going to work, then that's when getting my supervisor involved could be something that you can do. But like I said, that's extremely rare. Um, I'm very pro student. I really want you to do well and succeed. So let me know if there's anything you need. There's a course summary here at the bottom of the syllabus, but I'm not going to talk too much about that at the moment. All right, let's click over to the modules section quickly, and I'm going to switch back into student view now to show you this from the perspective of the student as you are going to see it. The very first module is our course resources module. This is where you can download a PDF copy of the syllabus. This is a page on how to access the textbooks. These are our direct links. Our books are housed at Norton's website. W.W. Norton is the publisher of The Little Seagull, and They Say, I Say. When you go to access the books, you have to create a username and password, but then you should only have to do that once to get in. You're going to have to agree to the terms of service for accessing the books and all that kind of stuff. But those are pretty straightforward. I do have on accessing the textbook, the accessing the textbooks page. If you would like to download a PDF version of the Little Seagull Handbook, you can click here and do that. It's the third edition, so it's a little out of date, but it's got almost everything that the fourth edition has. So if you want to click and download this PDF so you can have a PDF copy of the book, like I said, it's the one that we're going to do the most reading from. And so you can certainly do that as a strategy if you would like to access that information. Let me go back to the modules page really quickly. Student support and tutoring services links are also provided for you here. Okay, our course is divided into 8 modules for 8 weeks. Every week has a title and a main idea that we are exploring. So you can see week 1 is listed as course introduction and the rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation is the thing that we are exploring during week 1. I've tried to keep these modules pretty clean to the best of my ability. Every module has a page called Week Overview, and every module has a page called Reading List and Learning Activities. And these are available under the Content section. So when you click on the overview of the page, you will see a short introductory essay that I wrote. I'm not using materials from another faculty member. I'm not using materials made by a committee. I have gone through this class, which was designed by a committee, and I have rewritten all the content so that it comes from my voice with my priorities for you, the student. So I want you to read these overview pages. They cover the main idea of the week. What is it that we are primarily working on that week? And they come with examples and information and facts and all the things that might be really necessary. So think of it as almost like a textbook introduction written by your professor. So this is not just something I value, it's something that I actually produced. The reading list and learning activities pages basically function like a to-do list, right? And when you go to this page every week, it will tell you everything that you are working on for the week. Part 1 is, you can think of part 1 as like the background information on the week, right? So you're going to read the welcome announcement and the week 1 announcement. You're going to go through the syllabus. You're going to watch this course overview video. You're going to read the overview page. There are a couple of chapters from the Little Seagull Handbook that I want you to read. They're relatively short, but pages 2 to 5, pages 6 to 8, right? They're short chapters. There's a video that I want you to watch in week 1. And then there's also a supplemental reading from Montaigne, who you'll learn about in the week 1 overview. He's the inventor of the essay. You're going to read an excerpt of one of Montaigne's essays. Part 2 of your to-do list, these are the assignments then that everything from part 1 leads into. So you have to do all the reading from part 1 or the video watching or all that kind of stuff in order to do part 2. So in week 1, you're going to participate in a discussion where you're going to introduce yourself to the class and we're all going to get to know each other. There is a tutorial on the rhetorical situation. Tutorials are kind of like quizzes, short assignment hybrids. There are going to be some quiz questions and some writing questions, kind of all built into one for a tutorial. And then you're going to write an initial self-reflection essay, right? And then at the bottom here, it says everything's to be due by the end of the day, Monday, March 24th, right? If we go back to the module section, you can see that also the assignments are linked here under week 1 work. And if you click on one of these assignments, like the initial self-reflection assignment, for instance, click on it and open this, right? You will see that these are the details for the assignment, right? What is the context of the assignment? What is the purpose of the assignment? What is the audience of the assignment? What is the process of the assignment? How am I going to assess the assignment? How do you submit the assignment? All that information is listed here for you. So you need to click on this and read through the overview of the assignment. Sometimes your writing projects will actually have an introductory video attached where I'm recording, talking about the assignment that you're about to work on. So you always click on the assignment and then read through the guidelines, go do the assignment, and then you submit and upload the assignment. If we come over here to the tutorial page, right, you click on the tutorial and it will tell you this tutorial draws on the week 1 overview as well as the chapters that you were assigned to read. It's 10 points, it's 5 questions, there's no time limit, and you can resubmit as many times as you want to get the score that you like, right? So then it's called Take the Quiz. Like I said, they're quiz short assignment hybrids. So you can see that. And then if you click on the discussions, it'll link you out to the actual discussion, which has the prompt here. And then you click reply. Okay. Every week follows that structure, right? So week 2 overview, week 2 reading list and learning activities, list of the work that you're going to do. Week 3, same structure, so on and so forth for the whole class. All right. That concludes the overview and the walkthrough of our course. In short, I hope that you were able to think about how this class is structured and the goals for the class as I have them. I also hope that you were able to get a sense of how our course is set up so that you can navigate through the course in the most efficient way possible. It's possible, and I really try to design the class to feel very intuitive. It's possible that you would have already figured all that out if you just walked through it yourself. But the point of a video like this is to ensure that you are getting the most preparation necessary before you actually start doing the class itself. I encourage you to watch this video early in the week, like a Monday, Tuesday, and I'll say that in the announcement that I send out for the week. But I will be available during our meet and greet sessions if you have other questions that you'd like to follow up on. Or if you get to the end of this video and you have questions, you can absolutely email me at asams1 or you send me a message in the Canvas inbox. Thank you so much for giving yourself the time to walk through our class, to learn about the resources, to learn about my philosophy of teaching, to get to know me a little better. I look forward to getting to know you. As I mentioned, it's a treat and a privilege to work with you because we may not have ever seen each other or met each other if it weren't for online courses. So I'm looking forward to the upcoming class. I hope you are too. And again, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I look forward to reading what you produce and getting to know you better. Thanks so much.